came to Farm Place 4 weeks ago, having started Amber in Devon. I moved through to Farm Place to be closer to central London, to better my chances of college employment. I came from a broken and dysfunctional home, as many people who come to Amber do. My mother, an alcoholic, and my father, when he was at home, was an aggressive, violent drug dealer. He left and went to Germany when I was age 13, and I was left to bring up my younger brother and sister. I tried my best to bring up my siblings, get them to school. There was no money, and at 13 I was struggling to cope and needed help. I found help from a gang of drug dealers who showed me a way I could make some money. I was smoking weed at 13, selling it to try and look after my brother and sister. The teachers at school started to notice things that weren't right, and social services came around to my home. My mother had always managed to convince them that she ran a good home and that we were all cared for. She made herself out to be Mary Poppins. Really, nothing could have been further from the truth. She continued to drink and I continued to smoke more and more weed. I tried to look after my siblings, and I wish I'd been able to take some of the advice I'd given to them, because they're both now successful and have what I consider normal lives. After finishing secondary school, I managed to get into the catering trade and become a chef. I took this job because I didn't think I could amount to anything more. I got free board and lodgings, and it enabled me to spend all my wages on drugs. My drug abuse, at one point, I was spending £1,500 a month alone. One day, about 6 months ago, I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw a shell. I'd become somebody I never imagined I could become. And I realised that if I didn't do something about it, there was no future for me, and I would disappear further down a vicious spiral. The problem is that there are very few places available for a single male with a drug problem. But luckily I heard about Amber. I had two friends, the same area that I was from, who went to Amber and managed to sort their issues out. And these were people I assumed that were beyond help. This gave me motivation to take those first important steps to get away from a life of temptation, pressures, and drug dealers. I was accepted, and as I said, I started down in Devon in September. When I came, I was scared. I'm sure I came with a little attitude, and I was defensive, so I was unsure if I'd be able to cope. But I knew I had to give it a go. Everyone at Amber pulls together. We're all in the same position. No one's judging you. You're accepted for who you are in spite of your past. We all have our demons to deal with, but everybody helps. We're all given responsibility. I'm now chairing the Amberteers committee. We meet to discuss how things can be improved and what we can actually do to make it happen. We listen to people's moans, their gripes, and generally take an interest in what we do at Amber, because it's our home. It's not a home, so everyone must treat it as such. We all get respect, but we must be willing to show it in return. But most importantly for me, we learn to like ourselves, and we can see that, yeah, we may have had our setbacks, done things wrong, made some bad choices, but inside we're all capable of much more. And often we just need to realise it, and it happens at Amber. Whatever it is, liking yourself, being happy inside, being able to see a future for yourself, or being proud of the things that you accomplish rather than ashamed, is a whole lot better. I'm so glad I stuck at it, because in a nutshell it saved my life. I've realised I have so much I can achieve. I'm so much better than I used to think I was, and I have so much to give. Back in December I made an application to do an introduction to cognitive behavioural therapy, counselling and psychotherapy at the City Literary College in Covent Garden, and I've been accepted, which is something I never thought I'd be able to achieve. When I have the funds available, I'll be moving back to central London to start my course, and I'll start the life I've worked so hard to achieve, and try to help those following the same path that I did. Without Amber, I would have headed down the downward spiral, getting further into drugs, and no doubt would eventually have turned to crime. I would have lost what family I do have left. My brother and sister would have lost any respect that they had for me, and my life would have been wasted to the point that all I was left with was my bag of weed or a prison cell. I now know that I have the potential to accomplish anything I put my mind to, and Amber has given me that renewed self-belief. I now have something to work for, something to look forward to, and I no longer dislike myself. Sometimes people just need a second chance, or a friendly kick up the bottom, if you will. And I've been lucky enough to be given that chance to sort out my life before it was too late. Thank you very much. I will now hand over to